Hey, dear friend, what do you say? Dear friend, this is the day. Dear friend, we get to celebrate you. Thank you for the gigs. Oh, we've traveled far, from Hunt Hill Farm to Mama. You're a shining star. Thanks for Hopkins Inn. And thank you for your car. And thank you for today. Special thanks to Mark, the reason that we met. Thank you for each joyous Lynn and Doug duet. Long as there are songs, your sun will never set. Yes, thank you for today. Maybe we're not tops in taps or sipping goat lip tea. Still we've got the laughs, the gaffs. You've got a friend in me. Thank you for our coachings every week at 2. Inspiring me each day in everything you do. All because you can, all because you're here. It's clear our love will stay.
Happy birthday, Mom. Very happy 80th birthday. Look who's here. We love you, Mom, and we're sending all our best wishes for this new year. Thank you for the gift of life, as Kenny would say. Thank you for being such a wonderful mother and friend. The world really is a better place with you in it. You have such a huge, loving, genuine heart, such a special, pure soul. Steve Klein once said, "You have your mother's heart." What a huge compliment that was. I love you so much. I'm sorry I'm not there to celebrate on this watershed day, but I'll be there soon to celebrate together in just a couple weeks. I love you, I love you, I love you. Happy 80th birthday. Sending blessings and kisses, hugs, best wishes. We love you, Mom. Be well. I love you. Happy birthday.
Hey, Lynn, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lynn. Look, we're at the courthouse. Look. Whee! New York City.
New York City courthouse. Wait, I want to tell you something. So this is Geneva Carr. I met her during the whole jury selection, and she's a Tony nominee, and she's on the show Bull, which is a top 10 rated show. And so here she is. We became fast friends, and we're here to give you the blessings of a wonderful, wonderful decade
year
to come.
Yay!
Happy 80th.
Happy
Love
80th.
you, Lynn.
Mwah.
My heart is full of love for you, Lynn. I've known you for so many years since that magic day you came into the studio for the first time. You changed my life, and I will love you forever.
I can't believe you're hitting this milestone with such class and such sophistication. I will always be grateful to you for making my Thanksgivings in New York so special, with a very special crowd of people. And I'm wishing you nothing but the best, the very best, and the total best.
Yeah!
Hi, Lynn. Happy birthday to fabulous you. You're gorgeous, you're talented, you're beautiful, you're generous, you're kind, and you really are fabulous. So have a fabulous day. Love, Florence.
Lynn, dear, many happy returns of the day, and as you march through this next decade, please remember these 3 words: because you can.
Gosh, 6, 7 years has it been? Lynn, I love you from the bottom of my heart. You are such a stellar human being and a phenomenally gifted musical storyteller. I have loved filming you and becoming your friend, and thank you. Happy 80th freaking birthday, you senior stateswoman. Mwah! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Deborah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lynn.
Happy birthday.
We toast you this 80th year on earth, your birthday. Happy birthday, Lynn.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. It's Black Friday, and we're going to be talking about that today. I have 4 amazing people waiting in the wings, and another one if he makes it here in time. So we're going to be celebrating all of them today. I don't think today is Lynn's birthday, however. That was sent to me by her dear friend, Michael Lee Stever. And I queued it up, and we'll celebrate it anyway. But before the show started, one of my dear friends, Rosa Puzo, who is worth celebrating every day, I asked her to pick a number 1 through 3, and she actually picked door number 2. And it happens to be Madonna and Robin. And of course, you both know Rose. She's been out to visit you. And how did she know that you were behind door number 2?
Did you tell her?
Connected.
I didn't know. I don't know. Rose,
Carol Merrill.
We're just in sync.
No, I am so thrilled that both of you are here today. And I want to begin by giving a big shout out to both of you and to thank you for your tireless work during the SAG-AFTRA strike. Those of us that were watching everything that was going on both coasts, it never seemed like it was going to end. I know that the passion was absolutely there, but what was it that kept you going day after day and continuing to show up?
Well, I can start that because immediately I think of our siblings in the union, our brothers, sisters, and all our siblings in the union who are out on the strike lines every single day. And we just found a family. We were strike captains at Paramount, and then a couple days at Fox, and then we ended up at Warner Brothers, and we found this incredible family of working actors who were just giving their time every morning from 8:30 a.m. to about 12:30. We were standing in front of cars and, throwing ourselves in front of traffic to make sure nobody got hurt. And I've never met a group of people. Ironically, we never would have met these folks if it wasn't for the strike. I mean, the odds of 40 of us being on set together every day were pretty slim. And they're just amazing people. And I think that's what got us up every morning is we just have to be there. We have to fight for our siblings in the union. Right, hon?
Yeah.
Well, I thank you both for doing that. What did you both learn about yourselves through this process?
You want to go?
I don't know. I think for me at this stage, just to remind myself that I still have that fight and not complacent. We fight on behalf of our community and the LGBTQIA2+ community tirelessly every day. We fight politically for our rights.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not only LGBTQIA2+, but also as women. And, so we're constantly fighting. And then to remind ourselves that we have to fight on our behalf as actors in our industry. We're also SAG delegates.
Mm-hmm.
We're part of our Screen Actors Guild as a delegate as well. It was just good it was just a good reminder that we have to fight as artists.
Yeah, and this was also historic. I mean, we met everybody from the negotiating committee. They came out to the lines every day they could. And to learn the process, well, they couldn't tell us much when they were doing it, but just how passionate they were about taking care of each and every one of us. And it was really, and also I've also found my Sicilian side. I'm not afraid to stand in front of a car with a stop sign that says "Stop Corporate Greed."
She's not kidding. Let me just tell you. At WB, we had the same intersection, but she was across the main and I was on this side. And I kept telling everyone, I turn around and one of these days, and I've seen it, I'm going to find my wife strapped to the front of a car. And I keep saying, honey, until there's a $2 million policy on your head for me, don't do that.
Well, I want to ask you, but I mean, how were you? I mean, obviously, this was such ingrained in both of your bodies. And you're together during the day, fighting for all of us, but then you go home at night. How do you go about your day-to-day lives? Or is this very much a part of who you are 24/7?
You know, I think we have a lot of different personalities. I mean, relationships with each other. Yeah. Not only as actors, but as artists. And then we're always doing the give back and the charitables and the nonprofits, but there's also other sides to us. So when we come home after being on the strike lines, we know we both have to get to work. So we do a little work online, and then the cats and
well, there wasn't. Yeah, the truth is too, there wasn't. You know, we're in the industry, so work kind of came to a halt. So we were trying to figure out ways in which we could side hustle, you know, and just to make sure that we weren't dipping into all of our savings, which, you know, became a little scary toward the end there. But we just never, we don't live in fear. We live in knowing that we will make it through this, and we're going to be together. And of course, you know, as I mentioned in my bio, I rescue animals as well. So, you know, we've been sort of sidetracked with taking care of a few little kitties.
My babies applaud you for that as well. Before we bring on our next guest, I want to ask each of you and to weigh in on this. As women, as members of the LGBTQ plus community, and as actors, does it shock you, or where do you feel about where we all are at this point in our lives, at this time in our lives? As much as I would like to think that we have evolved, I feel that we're sliding backwards at such a rapid rate that it scares the hell out of me. What are your thoughts on that? And I don't want to go into a dark area today, but this is something that we need to all be aware of right now.
It's incredibly scary time. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm always felt myself to be optimistic about life and about it's just see the good in people. But I will tell you, I have struggled hard lately to pick myself back up. It's been really hard, not only from the LGBTQIA community, but, you know, just seeing how people are behaving with each other. That's really hard for me. I don't love the way people are speaking to each other. Social media has made it so easy for us to be mean and unkind. And we like to live our lives in kindness and gratitude. And I think it's taken a toll on us. I mean,
Yes.
You want to talk about it too?
No.
No.
No, because if I start talking about it, we're going to go down that dark alley. So it's best that I not. But, you know.
But it's important that we do speak up when we can. We're going to bring on our next guest in a moment, and I'm going to let you both help me bring that on. One of the things that I do on my Friday wrap-up shows is I lay out a few mystery questions. I haven't even looked at these cards, so I don't even know what's on the other side of the cards. But I'll start with you, Madonna. Pull a number 1 through 4, and we'll see where this takes us.
I'm giving you a number?
Yes.
I'm picking Rose's number 2.
Okay, number 2. And it says, which emotion are you struggling the most with these days, and why?
Well, I'm trying not to cry all the time. I mean, seriously, I just feel like
I have a waterworks day every day.
Yes, it's just, I'm feeling, I could cry right now. I'm feeling so much about, you know, Richard, you're such a beautiful soul. And I just feel that way about that motorcycle going by right now. I just feel that way about, so many people in my life, and I try to focus on that, but it's hard not to go down the tears. I think that's probably where I am emotionally.
Okay. And Robin, pull the number 1 through 3.
I'll go number 3.
Number 3, and it says, what stereotype do you completely live up to?
Oh, I'm such a girl. I'm such a girl. I'm a girl. Like, I'm that girl. Not the Marlo Thomas, that girl.
I know what you mean, yes.
Hmm?
I love that. That's great.
I'm a full hair, makeup, earrings, high heels girl, scream at the bugs girl. I'm that girl. Yeah.
Okay, Madonna, bring on our next guest. Door number 1 or door number 2?
Oh, door number 1.
And that's Lynn Henderson.
Yay!
What a great celebration we started with you today, Lynn.
Well, that's Michael. That's Michael Stever, the famous photographer, or I wouldn't say photographer, the famous
videographer.
Yes, thank you, videographer. He's just a wonderful friend and very supportive. And
now I want you to scoot back just a little bit, and we'll be able to see more of your face.
Move back?
Just move back a little bit. We'll still be able to hear you if you speak up. Perfect.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, I know nothing about videography.
But you're here, and I am so excited. You have a new show that you're going to be debuting at Don't Tell Mama, and I'm coming. I'm coming to your opening night.
I'm so glad.
So I'm excited.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So tell us about this upcoming show that you have coming up. And all of the details, by the way, for everyone who's watching, will be on my YouTube channel. So we'll be able to get all those details.
Wonderful. Well, this show is about the sore subject, the painful subject of aging. And the title of it is There's Still a Little Starch Left in This Old Girl Yet. And so I'm trying to be humorous and telling about aging. And I'm going to be 84 next week. And it's been an interesting journey. And so I've incorporated, I've always been a person who collected quotations. And so I have this book of quotations. And when I started to put together the show, I looked in that book and came up with some fabulous quotations, starting off with one by Mary Oliver. And it permeates throughout the show, different quotations about life, good and bad, happy and sad. But that's what it's about. And it's mixed with beautiful music that you all know, all wonderful, wonderful classic songs. And I have this amazing partner in this. We've been working together for 15 years, and that's Douglas J. Cohen, who's a composer.
He was on last week.
Yeah, so. He's a composer, a lyricist, a singer. He's absolutely brilliant. So we put together this show, and I think it's going to be a very interesting and inspiring evening.
I can't wait. What have you learned about yourself, Lynn, for the process of putting this show together?
Well, everything takes more effort when you get older. But even the singing, my voice, I started out as a soprano and now I'm an alto. But I guess I found out that I found out about myself that I have always needed a challenge. I always need a project. So what follows this, I don't know, but there'll be another show as long as I'm alive.
That's great. Well, I mean, the aging process may take its toll on the physicality, but within, I'm sure you still feel the same way that you feel the first time you stepped out on a stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what a joy it is. Absolutely.
That's great. Well, I will say this, seeing you on stage is always a joy. So I'm thrilled that I'm going to be able to see you in person because it's been a long time. I don't think I've seen you since before COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And please bring Dan.
Oh, Danny's coming. We'll be
Good.
there together. I don't go anywhere without him. That's my husband. So
I know.
we're always together.
Good.
So
Thank you.
I've got 2 cards here. So pull the number 1 through 2, and then we'll bring on our next guest.
1.
Okay. And your question is, take a few moments to identify what this is good, especially now with what we've been talking about. What does being a good person mean to you?
It means being kind to everybody and loving the world and loving people and not being critical. Everybody has all kinds of things going on in their life that we don't even know about. And I think it's important to listen and care about people. That's it.
That's great. Well, I'm excited to be bringing our next guest on. He is just, he wears so many hats. I don't know which one he wears the most comfortably, but they all fit him to a T. He has an incredible book out called How Catering Sucked the Life Right Out of Me. He's a very funny guy. He's an incredible songwriter himself. He also has, and this is a book that I love, Rainbow Relatives. And it's advice on how to talk to kids about LGBTQ plus families and friends. So we'll talk about that for a moment. And here he is. He's Sudi, originally from New York, but the West Coast has him now. So Sudi, I'm so thrilled that you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
And, so out of all the hats that you wear, which one do you enjoy the most?
Probably songwriter. And it's funny, I literally have a hat that says NSAI songwriter, and I just ran to try to look for it, but I think it's in the car. When you were saying he wears many hats, I'm like, oh shoot, now I got to go get a hat. But I love songwriting, and I've done that the longest, I think. But then I started writing scripts, and then the books, and then I think, what else? Scripts, books,
calendars,
songs. Oh, well, calendar. Yeah, that's going to be a book, but it's calendars. Yeah, people, peace,
well,
pets have.
Madonna and Robin are going to want to hear about this calendar.
Oh, because they're animal.
Yeah. So tell them about the calendar.
Yeah. So, well, I figured if people have pet peeves, then pets must have people peeves, things that annoy them about their owners and humans. So an illustrator, Nelly Guitaris, is doing all the illustrations for me, and we're doing a whole book. But we did a calendar, I have it back there, but with different things. So like January's is the dog is outside his doghouse and there's 2 human legs sticking out. And he's like, how come every time she's mad at Mike, I got to go homeless for the night, so that the people peeve is when someone's in the doghouse. But there's different ones, the goldfish hates the funeral they get down the toilet. So if dogs, cats, fish, it's just a fun book. And there'll be a little trivia with the book, like where certain expressions came from. It's raining cats and dogs. They hate that expression, by the way. It's like, but and like blame them for the flood in Noah's Day while you're at it. So we had a good time. She did a great job in the illustrations, and it's a fun calendar that we put together, a limited edition. So it's on Etsy and all that kind of stuff now. So yeah,
and in the midst of all this, you also have a short film that's going to be debuting next week.
Well, it's a music video. It's All I Want for Christmas Is You Gone. So I just added one word to the Mariah Carey title. It has nothing else to do with the song. And actually, the video did show, there's 2 versions. One is an LGBTQ version that I did with Mel England, and he plays my narcissistic boyfriend. And then I did another version with Lupe Carranza playing my narcissistic girlfriend. And Brian Sadler plays Santa in both of them. And Carla Guy edited and directed it. And so it's going to be in the Culver City Film Festival, December 5th at 6 p.m. And it was in the Silicon Beach Film Festival, and it won an Audience Award for Best Music Video a few weeks ago. So that was kind of cool.
That's wonderful. Well, I want to ask each of you, today is Black Friday. I'll start with you, Madonna and Robin. Does that mean anything to either of you? And if yes or no, and if you have a favorite Black Friday story to share.
It means for me, I'm not stepping out of the house. What does it mean for you? Do you have a story?
I don't. I stay away from anything shopping on Black Friday. I don't even, we tend to stay home.
So we got nothing.
Let the crazy happen out there.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Lynn?
I tell you, I'm not a shopper, and I don't even pay any attention to Black Friday. So I'm not good fodder for your discussion.
No. I am not. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because I also am not a shopper. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. I support brick and mortar businesses. I
Yes.
want them all to succeed, but I prefer shopping online.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person, when I want to buy something, I am very specific with what I'm looking for. I go in, I don't browse, I get what I want, and I get out of the store. I have never.
See, now this is where we go back to me being the stereotypical female, because I love going to the stores and touching and holding and feeling and yeah.
And I'm standing at the exit.
Wait. You got a dinner date.
You're too cute.
What about you, Sudi?
I'm not a shopper. Yeah, I'm not a big shopper at all. But I do mention Black Friday in another song I wrote, which was similar title. All I want for Christmas is some sleep, on how chaotic the season is. And I think the line was, I may make it through Black Friday, but there's no doubt come Cyber Monday, I'll need a second wind. I forget the lines, but so I do mention Black Friday in that song. But yeah, but I'm like Madonna and Robin. I stay off the roads. I stay at home if I can, because it's crazy out there.
That's great. Well, one of the things I love to do on my Friday show is I read, one of my favorite books is The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. I do my morning pages every morning. I'm a big proponent. I have a shelf full of her books. Huge fan. Shout out to her in case she's watching. But we're gonna have a little round robin thing just for the fun of it. And I will start with you, Robin. And the question is, what is the best thing that you've read this week that you would recommend to others?
Ooh. Gosh. Besides my writers that I represent, scripts.
You can mention any of them. That's great.
Oh, I've got a couple of writers right now that there's one in particular who's actually a New Yorker, and she's written a pilot that I just am working so hard to get it out there because I think it's something. I think it's just really something. So
That's
yeah,
great.
I'm really focusing on, now that we're back to work, is focusing back on my writers right now. So that's been my reading.
Good. And thank God that they're out there.
Yes.
Madonna, what's the best thing that you've seen this week that you recommend to others?
Well, I watched it again. I watched part of it again, The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart. It's streaming. It's Sigourney Weaver. It's mostly Australian actors. It's beautifully written.
Beautiful
It's
story.
fun.
It is so beautiful
Yeah.
and touching.
Yes. And so I was sharing it with friends. We watched it a few weeks ago, and then I was with friends and we watched the first couple of episodes together again. And I just thought, wow, I'm glad I'm watching this again for just the nuances of these, the writing and the performances. I loved it. I love it.
Great. Lynn, what is something that made you proud this week?
Wow. I guess my daughter, wonderful daughter who lives too far away in Mexico, and she's selling her home and downsizing, and she's going for a very difficult time, and she's being very strong, and she's meanwhile she's got 4 animals that she lives with, and so she's a busy lady, and I give her a lot of credit because it's a difficult time, a big time of change for her. And her name's Jennifer Rosen. So I'm very, very proud. I think a lot about her. Does that answer your question?
Great. Sudi, what is something that happened this week that frightened you?
Well, I mean, if you turn on the news any day of the week, I literally haven't really been turning it on because that would be the first thing that would come to mind, just the stuff that's going on, I guess, in the world. But something that I don't know. I feel like I've been pretty safe this week. I don't know if we've seen or
no. That's good. That's good. But
Yeah.
with everything that's going on in the world, a couple of when it all happened, when the war broke out, the images got to me so deeply. I'm an empath, and it really affected me. And I just said, I can't take it anymore. And then I caught myself, and I got. It's easy for me to say that in the comfort of my living room, lying on my sofa, enjoying my dinner, when so much is going on in the world. And I truly believe, and this is where we need to get back on the same page, that we're all connected. Regardless of what your background is, regardless of where you came from, we all have the same core values. Deep down, they may be buried on some people, but I do believe that they're really there. And we all need to get back on the same page. So, Madonna, describe your week in 10 words or less.
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah. Yes.
Fuck me.
And why do you say that?
No. Well, we've been 10 words. Dealing with people's emotions after the strike. I think that's 10 words or less.
Oh, wow. Okay. Robin, what is one habit that you have found that has a significant impact on your life that you would share with other people?
I don't know. What? Say that again, Richard.
What is one habit that has made an impact on your life that you've has had a significant impact on your life that you would share with others?
I think it's the constant sharing to others. I don't know how to turn it off. I really don't. I walk down the street, I stop, I chat, or even if I don't know them, or finding a way to reach out to help someone, saying, I have this, and this, and I want to do this. Okay, well, here, let me help you find someone. I think that's it. I don't ever stop on that.
Okay. Len, what is one task that you did this week to move you forward when it comes to your upcoming show?
Well, I'm constantly trying to go over all the patter that I've written. I mean, it's an unbelievable amount, and it's hard. It's hard when you're 84 to memorize things. Let me tell you. But it's my biggest challenge right now is just getting this show perfect as I can before next week. Does that answer your question?
You'll be there.
That's my whole focus.
So, Sudi, I mean, you're meeting people for the first time today. How would you describe who you are in 10 words or less?
Okay, well, side note, Don and Robin, I think, are on my Facebook, but I don't think we've ever met like this or in person, as far as I know. So how would I describe myself in 10 words? 10 words. Silly, humorous, busy, kind, crazy. Likes to help people, I think.
Creative.
I think that was 11 words. Oh, creative is probably the number one. Yeah. I try to stay away from C words. It gets me in trouble a lot. So,
Robin, what's the most valuable lesson that you feel that you learned this week?
Patience.
And how did you learn that?
We are inundated all day, every day with the events that are coming up, especially with now ending the strike and apps that we're on and as delegates and stuff like that. And to just keep breathing and not cuss them out.
Wow. Good for and you're together 24/7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, not us, each other. But
No,
I mean,
I know that, but it's coming at you both,
yeah.
all the time. So I can't even imagine. Madonna, what do you feel your main purpose has been through this strike?
To stay centered and to help others. I feel like it's given everything that's going on in the world and this happening, and we just kind of came back from pandemic a little bit, people.
Can you imagine, the whole world stopped.
Mhm.
And then we are like, it's like the little engine that could, that
Right.
people are trying to get back to work. Writers are trying to get back to work. And then 2 major strikes hitting our industry with such a force.
Yeah. And sort of, I think one of my missions in life as an actor and a human being is to help, to be there for people, to help connect people, to help find these networks to bring people together. I know when we were on strike with the writers, and we weren't on strike yet, we were talking to the writers and just sort of getting really feeling what they were going through. And then we were all on strike on the lines together. And those conversations were priceless. They were brilliant, beautiful. We were all in this sort of, it reminded me of any horrible situation that we've been in. This isn't catastrophic by any chance, but anything that's brought people together,
Mm-hmm.
where you find your common threads. And I feel like, that's really what my purpose has been, is to find those common threads and help weave people together.
Not meaning to put you both on the spot, but do you think the negotiation has brought both sides closer together?
Both sides being what? The writers
producers
and the
and
actors, or the producer?
No, the negotiating table, from the...
I do, because I think that they were, like any negotiation, you start in completely different places, and you have to find this common ground. And as I've explained to many people, no, we didn't get everything we wanted. Neither did they. You don't get everything you want when you buy a car or a house, or, you really have to, and that's a terrible example, but it's when you're negotiating anything, there's a give and take. And so I think in that give and take, and I will say that the negotiating committee I've never heard any negativity. I've just heard them say, we found this common ground, and say good things, about that. So I do, in my opinion, they did come closer together.
That's good. Lynn, with everything coming up with your upcoming show, what is the one area of your life that you feel is getting too little time?
Exercise. I get on the bicycle every morning. We have a gym where I live, so I get on the bicycle every morning, but I'm not getting enough exercise. I have to get out there and be outside, and that's what I'm missing.
Okay.
Not a good thing.
Sudi, in your career, what is getting too much of your time?
The business end of it, or trying to figure out how to get stuff out there or promote it, or it's time consuming more because I don't know how to do a lot of that. But so that just takes the time away from the creative stuff that I really want to be doing, the writing and all that. So everything from sending out emails to that takes up. It's stuff that has to be done, and I don't mind putting the time in. It's just I get frustrated when I'm not sure how to do it, I guess. But
I know it's a full-time job for anyone who doesn't know. It's a full-time job.
Yeah, and I do get my frustration out by exercising. Actually, I swam a mile today, but so I'm like the opposite.
Wow.
I'll do the exercise first, and then I feel like it gives me more energy to do the other stuff. But yeah.
Robin, when it comes to your art, your career, who is one teacher that you would say has made the greatest impact on your art and your approach to your art?
I'm actually going to have to say my wife, because I don't. She's always very honest with me. So, those rare occasions that I get an audition, and I also, when I paint and sculpt or something, and when I create something or try and write something, and I can show it to her and I know I'm going to get that honest answer. And if I struggle with trying to find my way into something, whether it's trying to find a character or trying to find whatever, she's really good about, think about it this way, or what about that? Or have you thought about this? Or so.
I love that. That's going to lead me to my question for you, Madonna. My husband and I have been together going on 35 years. And but I always say that when he passes on and he gets to the pearly gates, that St. Peter is going to say, "Here is your Purple Heart. You've certainly earned it." It's difficult being in a relationship with someone in this business because it's not linear. It's the ups and downs of this business, and we don't know from day to day what's going on. What is your secret with both of you being in the same business?
I think it's the secret is what our relationship consists of, which is kindness. We come from completely different ways of reacting to things. Hers is more inward and mine is outward. And so we navigate that in our relationship. And we also have to navigate that in our careers because, the ups are high and the downs are low. And so that roller coaster, unless you're both riding the high at the same time, which is wonderful.
And that's very rare.
Very rare as an actor, you get more of the rejection than you do. I mean, I do. I get more rejection than I do. Yeah, you booked it. So it's that high of getting the audition, the high of working on it. We work on it together because often they're self-tapes. So that helps us, we're in a creative space when we do that. And then if you don't hear anything, it's please help me. I'm terrible. You go through all the emotion of that. And I think it's just the way we are on it. Robin does not let me get away with anything. She said, I'm honest. Well, she's honest too. And as a human being, as an actor, she doesn't let me, she lets me have my feelings, but I'm just saying she helps me out of that. So I think that's just been the success of also being 20 plus years together.
It always helps. Lynn, when did you know that you wanted to be in this profession?
Well, I've sung my whole life since I was about 5 years old, and I heard Doris Day sing "It's Magic." Literally, I can remember that. But singing has not been my whole life. I worked in copywriting and sales and all kinds of different jobs until I was in my mid-50s. So, and I was also very involved with horses and very involved with athletics, which is pretty funny when now I have trouble. I get out of breath when I walk down the hall. But so I've forgotten what your question is, but singing is the most important thing to my heart. Mm-hmm. But it hasn't kept me back from having so many other interests as well.
That's great. Sudi, a favorite child, you're writing these incredible books. I want to talk about this book instead of the question that I had in front of me. Rainbow Relatives, what is the genesis behind this book and how did it come to be?
I started writing it probably close to 10 years ago, and it took me several years, and I interviewed a lot of people and got stories from them. But it really came about years ago. I was talking to my sister in Delaware, asking if her kids, my nieces and nephews, who were 3 and 6 at the time, knew about my orientation. And my sister's like, I don't know, I think so. I'm not sure how to talk about it. I wish there was a book on that. And I'm like, that night I came up with a title, How to Tell the Kids About Uncle Mary and Aunt Butch, but I threw out that title. But I wanted it to have a sense of humor. So I hopefully kept the sense of humor, and it ended up becoming, Rainbow Relatives, and it's stories and advice on how to talk to kids. And I interviewed Del Shores because he raised a daughter as a gay dad. I talked to 2 dad and 2 mom families. There's a chapter on, uncles and aunts coming out to kids. And that chapter is called there was no monster in your closet, but your uncle was. So each chapter has a cute thing, but there's serious stuff to it too, like bullying and things like that. There's a whole chapter on transgender, which the book came out like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just like we're going, like you said earlier. I think we're going backwards on everything. Like the book, the literary agent was like, "I'm not sure if we need this book anymore," but he said, "But let's go with it." And then since the book came out, it seems like we need it more and more, and it'll probably be banned any minute in Florida. So,
well, I was going to ask you, have you had any experiences with that?
With like banning or people like a backlash or anything?
No, with the book being banned.
No, so far. I mean, that might be good if we get more publicity for it, to be honest. But it's right up there, I think, with the stuff that's in it. I mean, it's just a good book with real stories from real people and how to talk to kids, but kids aren't the one who have the issues. It's the adults, with a religion. That's a whole nother chapter. Pray the gay bashers away. I'd call that one. But so far, I don't think it's well known enough to be banned. So,
here in New York, and I don't know if this is going on in LA as well, but a lot of actors are actually doing evenings, reading excerpts from banned books. And I think it's a really important thing to do. Robin, do you have a favorite book that that has been banned, and your thoughts on it?
God, I'd have to think about that. I'm sure I do. Probably anything from Toni Morrison. We know that.
Well, Toni Morrison was a neighbor of mine, and yes, and yes, her books, some of her books. I think Blue Eyes is her book.
Blue Eyes, yeah,
it's been banned.
Yeah, and anything black and anything gay and anything, it's just, I feel like I worry that we're going to turn into The Handmaid's Tale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Madonna, what is one activity that you are naturally drawn to when it comes to preparation for your art? Every project, of course, is different, but you have a certain list of dues that you are instantly drawn to when you're creating a new project.
Well, I mean, just for me, like just my energy, just getting my energy up. I'm with Sudi on the activities outdoors. I like to really, be in nature. I'm very drawn to what's happening in nature, and it inspires me all the time. Just watching a bluebird just was in our yard today, and I thought, oh, that bird just brought me life, because that bird has no expectations of how I should be or how I should act or who I love, or, it's just a bird. It's a bird that just wants to eat food, and animals do that for me. That's why I'm such an animal lover and advocate, and that's why I'm vegan as well. So anything I'm inspired by. We went to see. I'm going to go a very small sidetrack, but we went to see Brandi Carlile at the Hollywood Bowl, and she brought on Joni Mitchell, and she brought on Annie Lennox, and I'm telling you, my heart just flew wide open. That was one of the best nights of my life, and I realized that music of that time, and Joni Mitchell's music especially, just opens my heart. I had an audition where I had to really go there very quickly, and I just listened to that song "Shine" that they sang at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was done. That's what inspires me. That's what opens my heart, so I can really connect.
That is beautiful. I love that, and I love Joni Mitchell. Lynn, in your career, what do you feel is the biggest challenge that you had to overcome, and what got you through that challenge?
Well, it's always a challenge. There's never a time when it's not a challenge, even when you're practicing. I mean, luckily I have this wonderful partner, my director, and he is a perfectionist, damn it. And I'm so glad because he keeps me sharp and gives me good insights. And I've forgotten what your question is.
No, the question is what the biggest challenge and what gets you through.
It's always a challenge every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sudi, what does a perfect workday look like for you?
A perfect workday? Well, one where I'm not doing any catering. If working on a commercial, even if it's background, is great because it's fun and it pays
That's
okay.
not a cue. Well, tell us about this book.
Oh, yeah, that's the second book I wrote. And chapter 1 is the pros of doing catering. It's a blank page and it goes right to chapter 2. No, I actually, there is some, there is a lot of good things about catering. There's, the F words, so flexibility, free concerts, free food, there are some good things. And you work with a lot of really cool people because a lot of them are very creative and they're doing that as a side thing. And it is the perfect thing to do in a way because of the flexibility. And if you're a starving out of work actor, you got free food, so you're not starving. You're just out of work actor. But there's a lot of fun stories in that. I still do it a little bit here and there, and I have some very good clients that I enjoy working for. And I praise the good caterers in there. There weren't too many. No, there are a lot of good caterers, like Walkstar Catering with Katie Chin. I think it's the bigger corporations sometimes that they don't treat the employees well, and that's where all the issues come from, and the bad management. I say there's too many chiefs on too much opium because you got, they're all telling you to do something different, and they don't treat, so I don't name those companies in the book, but people who've worked for those companies will recognize who I'm talking about. But it was fun. It was therapeutic to write the book, and I put it out during the pandemic. I always try to look at things through a comedic lens, so if my, pain can bring other people laughter, that's great,
That's great. I'm going to drop a line from one of my dear friends who has moved on, and that was Carol Channing. And Carol Channing said that when she was on stage, she always picked someone in the audience and she imagined that person to be her father. And she was always performing to that father. So, Robin, I want to ask you, when it comes to your work, is there someone out there, maybe it's Madonna, that you're doing your work specifically for?
As an artist, or
as an artist that you're thinking of when you're creating your art?
My art usually comes from like I get little messages, and that's the only way I can create. So I go through big stretches where I don't paint, and I don't, because it has to come to me. And so sadly, I don't have a great answer for that.
That's quite all right. Madonna, do you I think I know the answer to this already, but do you consider yourself a resilient person? And if so, what gets you, where does that come from?
Yes, and I can tell you it comes from, now see, don't make me cry, Richard. It comes from my brother who died of AIDS in 91 in New York City, and all those souls who we lost. And I always think, God, what they went through, and what people are going through in the world right now, that I'm so fortunate and blessed and grateful for everything that I have. So I've got nothing to really complain about. I'm glad that I have my health and my home and my love. And you're going to make me cry. Thanks for that.
No. Next week is December 1st is World AIDS Day.
Yes.
And I'm actually doing a show on the 1st. On the 30th, commemorating that. If you're available, let me know. Come back. I won't put you on the spot, but I really want to talk about the impact of those of us who lived through that time. And when friends complain, and I love Lynn, I love the fact that you proudly wear your age out for the world, because some people say, I don't want to talk about my age. And I go, it's a gift. So many people did that.
It is. Absolutely. Think of all the people we know in the business who are no longer with us.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Lynn, was there anything that you read this week that made an impact on you?
Well, I like poetry. I read a lot of Mary Oliver, and somebody just gave me a book of quotations from Maya Angelou, who I just adore. That I kind of exist on poetry a lot, but I don't have any particular thing that I read this week. Pardon me. Except I'm reading this book.
Yes.
This is a book by my music director, Doug Cohen, and it's How to Survive a Killer Musical, Agony and Ecstasy. And as told by a Broadway star or something like that. I can't
No,
but it's a great book.
And my interview with Douglas is on demand. Go and watch it, everyone, if you haven't seen it. Douglas, for years, it was the struggle of getting his show on Broadway and what that did to his psyche and everything. But I consider him a very optimistic person, despite everything that he's gone through. So I recommend, that's an incredible book. Thanks for bringing that up. And to wrap this up, Sudi, what do you feel is the most important goal that you achieved this week?
I finished editing a video for another song called Jimmy's Not Here for Christmas Day, which it's the opposite of the other. It's a very sad song. It's about a school shooting. And it came to me in a dream, the song, and I wrote it a couple months ago. And I just finished with the editor editing a video to it. And it's dedicated to all the kids who have died from gun violence and the families that suffered from it. And the video is kind of saying something must be done, but it's falling on deaf ears, I'm sure. But I had to, it's going to come out, I think next week, the video and song. But so, yeah, that was.
Please do send it to me. And I want to thank all of you, because the one thing that ties all of us together is the fact that you really are using your art to make a difference on so many subjects. And I really admire that with all of you. I want to thank you all for being here today. Don't go anywhere, because I'm going to give each of you a chance to have your final word today. It could be about anything that we spoke about that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message that you want to leave everyone with today. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in. In this business, when you show up, we don't take it lightly. So the fact that you chose to be here instead of in some shopping mall on this Black Friday, I am thrilled that you said yes to me and to my wonderful guest today. The message that I leave everyone with every day, and I know that those of you who watch the show every day, and some of you are here, I really appreciate that. And it may sound, like you can recite this by heart, but it really means a lot. And it's important that I repeat this at every show. I always end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Go to your Facebook friends list, and the first name that pops up, reach out to that person with a phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know the impact that they've made on your life. If the first name pops up and you go, I don't even know who this is, think about that too. But reach out with a phone call. And by letting that person know the impact that they've made on your life, you're going to make an impact on their life. I have a dear friend. He says, we're all in the same storm, but we're in different sized boats. And I always say, I don't care what size boat you're on, as long as you have a skipper by your side. And with that, I'm going to leave the screen. Sudi, I'm going to turn it over to you. When you finish, Lynn, and then Madonna and Robin, you have the final word. And when you say goodbye, I will end the show. Thank you all, and make it a better tomorrow. Sudi,
thank you. I'll say, I think, try to be patient with people. I'm saying this as much for me as anyone else, because it gets harder and harder. I feel like I used to be really patient when I was younger, and it's really hard, but just try to understand where other people are, maybe what their situation is. And even if they're being a total whatever, just be patient with them. And again, that's as much for me as anyone else. I think I'm saying that to talk myself into being more patient with people.
Good. Who's next? Is it me?
You, Lynn. Yes.
I would just say, let's all love one another and support one another. There's so much horror in this world. I just hope we can all, as a world, love one another and say your prayers every night. That's about all I have to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Sudi took mine, because that was, patience is something, but that I need to also remind myself of in these times. But also I would say a way to get there is to take a walk in nature or listen to some music that moves you, and just sit with it for a moment when you're about to judge somebody, or if somebody's hurt you by saying, somebody who doesn't even know you, maybe on social media. Just center yourself with whatever you center yourself with, and know that you're a good person.
I just be kind. Just be kind. We all come into this world kind, and the world shows us a different way of looking at things. So if we can just get back to being kind, that's all.